Okay, welcome everyone to Breakout Room 10. My name is Brandy Fagan, and I am an educational recovery leader with the Kentucky Department of Education, and I'm happy to be your host for this session titled Meetings That Rock, presented by David Beaty from Woodford County. He is currently serving as the assistant principal at Southside Elementary in the Woodford County School District. And Mr. Beaty has spent the last several years as the administrative dean and assistant principal there at Southside Elementary. But prior to that, has worked in international education and has traveled to many different places and done a lot of great things for education. So welcome, Mr. Beaty, and thank you for presenting to us Meetings That Rock, as told by Hollywood. And I will turn this over to you.
All right, perfect. First of all, thank you for the introduction. Appreciate that. I have a little slide about that as well, but can I get this up? You guys hear me okay? Anybody out there? Okay, good. And I do have a couple of video clips, so we'll make sure that those work as well. So, so just a little bit about me. I'll put my contact information up again at the end of our presentation. But I do work in Woodford County, and Brandy covered some of those details. I can make it a little more personal. This is my family. Got 3 kids. My wife is also a teacher, so we do a lot of talking about education in our house, as you can imagine. So they're all in high school or beyond now. And as Brandy mentioned, I've spent a lot of my career working in international education. So if that's something you want to talk about, please see me later. You may or may not recognize those flags, but those are countries where I've worked as a teacher or a director of technology or a school administrator of some kind. So if you're interested in that and you want to talk shop sometime, then please contact me. But we've been fortunate enough to work in a lot of different places for the last about 20 years before coming to for sales. So, okay, why are we talking about meetings? Anybody have a meeting this week? Anyone? Anybody have a meeting? Yes, I see a hand up there. Philip had a meeting this week. So we do meetings a lot, guys. We spend a lot of time in meetings. I think all of us do some form of a faculty meeting, a staff meeting, meeting with parents and that kind of thing. So it's an important topic, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And I'm going to boil it down for you into just, we'll just pick one important thing. And I got a little clip. I said, as told by Hollywood, so I got a little clip to help you think about why meetings are important. All right, anybody working in elementary school? Anyone? Jack Hartman. If you've ever worked in elementary school, you know Jack Hartman, lots of his videos around. But money. So every once in a while, I like to do the math on this. And I did this calculation. We have between 30 and 35 staff that would be in any one of our faculty meetings. And I like to remind myself that that's around $800, you know, and that may be a low estimate depending on, of course, years of experience and people's salaries and that sort of thing. So if I cannot run a staff meeting in a way that captures people's attention and communicates well and all the important things about meetings, then I am effectively wasting $800 for an hour of a meeting. So it is an important consideration to think about in that time. All right, what is important about a meeting? Well, time is money. I like this quote from Ken Norton. I'm just going to give you a chance to read that on the screen. Yeah, so he's just saying, you know, we need to respect people's time, you know, ask politely for that time, take only the time that you need, and just respect people's time. So some of those main points, for me, you want to respect people's time. For some reason, I guess maybe it's a Google Calendar thing or an Outlook calendar thing, but we tend to schedule things in chunks of an hour. So I would challenge that and say, why does everything have to be an hour? You know, try a 20-minute meeting or a 45-minute meeting. And I think we've probably all been in meetings where it's getting towards the end, you've spent about 40 minutes, everything's pretty well resolved, but we feel like we have to use up that time for some reason. So don't be afraid to say, we're done. And the last important thing about the time and respecting people's time, that being busy sometimes can feel like this like it's a badge of honor. We say, well, I'm just so busy all the time, and how many of us had talked to people where they say, how was your week? Well, busy, everybody's busy. So I would consider your time with your faculty is really, really important, and supporting them and being with them. So having a completely full schedule should not be something to be proud of. And I've been guilty of that too, just filling up my schedule and kind of feeling like, well, I'm so busy and there's so much to do. I've got so many meetings, but if you can clear off a meeting, then clear it off. All right. Okay. During the meeting itself, and even a little bit before, I feel like clarity is really, really important. We've probably all been in a meeting where we sit down and kind of look around and trying to figure out who's in charge. All right. And who called this meeting, and the person that called the meeting, are they running the meeting? So I feel like clarity is really important. And I've got another little clip for you to help you remember this point about who's in charge. It is important to know who's in charge. All right. Thor or Star-Lord, whoever it is that's in charge of your meetings. And it's not about power and not about trying to, make sure everybody knows who's the boss in the room or whatever. In fact, I'm more than happy to have a meeting and ask somebody beforehand if they can run it or facilitate or whatever that may be. So, but it is important, and I feel like the meetings work better and they're more efficient when we all know who's in charge. And you can even have different agenda items. You don't have to run the whole thing. You can just, so the agenda that we use for meetings has a place to say who's leading each topic. And so when it's that person's turn, they run it. But that person who is in charge, they're in charge of making sure voices are heard and the conversation is polite and fair and all those sorts of things. And we actually run our meetings using a set of meeting norms. And I've got a picture here of there's a group called the Thinking Collaborative, and they have 7 norms of collaboration, but it's basically 7 norms of meetings. And these are the things, they're 7 Ps actually. So helpful things that help you during a meeting, and just remind people how to interact and that sort of thing. I usually add 1 conversation to that list as well. But I feel like clarity is really, really important during the actual meeting itself. Okay, planning ahead. All right, I've definitely been in some meetings where we just had a meeting. It was supposed to be a meeting, and we all showed up and we're like, okay, we're supposed to have a meeting now. And somebody has a little Post-it with a few things on it and that kind of thing. But planning ahead, very, very, very important. But having a plan. So something I really like to do is have a shared agenda ahead of time and allow people to contribute to the agenda as well, because the people that are invested, that have had a chance to talk about the things they want to talk about and put their items on the agenda, the meeting just goes better. I mean, people will start to pay attention. I think it's just human nature if we show up in a meeting and we think, well, this is just really somebody else's information that they just want to share with me, and I guess I better listen now. But when people have that agenda ahead of time, they tend to be invested and pay close attention. We use an agenda here at Southside Elementary, an agenda template that we've used for a couple of years, and you just need to find one that you like. I'm happy to share the one that we use, but I think it's important that you find one that you like. As we go through our meetings, we mark action items, and then the next week we review those action items and see how we made progress on those and that kind of thing. But plan ahead. You don't want to just show up to a meeting, especially a faculty meeting, without a really, really good plan. All right. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics, phrase that I use a lot: the meeting before the meeting. So I do feel like sometimes we come into a meeting, and if we know it's going to be a difficult meeting, maybe with parents or with staff or something like that, but I think we need to do everything we can do to do the meeting before the meeting. So what I mean by that is go to those people that either may challenge an idea or have an opposing idea or just a different idea, and talk to them before the meeting itself. I think we've probably all been in a meeting that kind of got derailed because an idea was too new and people weren't ready for it. And we can avoid a lot of that by having the meeting before the meeting. I'll often have one like this if I'm trying to pitch a big idea and I want to talk to some key people. And I don't try to coerce anybody, and say like, I really need you on my side in that meeting. Like, you better have my back. But I do like to pitch the idea so people know what's going to happen. And I can, I may do a little bit of convincing about an idea before I get in there, just so that they're not shocked. I think a lot of people don't want to come into a meeting with a brand new thing and be completely surprised by that. All right. So the meeting before the meeting, super important concept, whether it's faculty meeting, you want to talk to some of your key player teachers or team leads or that sort of thing. Or even if it's, whatever that meeting might be, especially if there's an important decision that's going to be made, then consider the meeting before the meeting. And I always think of sort of a pre-game talk. All right, so your meeting before the meeting might not look exactly like Ted Lasso, but hopefully you get the idea. You want to talk to the right people before the game or before the event, before the meeting. So keep that one in mind, guys. And I'll have a little summary for you at the very end. So one other thing that's really important is to have fun, guys. Not every meeting is going to be a blast and have to be a super fun meeting, but when you're asking people to be together, I think it is worth making some effort into having a little bit of fun. It doesn't have to be every single one, but at least now and then you need to have a good time in your meetings. And I'll talk about this on another slide, but really that's because we're emotional beings as humans. And so we remember the things that we had fun with and that we enjoyed, that have some emotion attached to them. So it's easy to be real logical and was like, got to get this out. Let's just get it done and get the meeting over with. But you want to have a little fun. We talked a little bit about that, the power of emotion, and that fun. If you have fun, it really does seal the memory. And funny enough, you can actually have fun and do a little bit of work and have fun, and people will still remember both of those things. So do them both. Anybody ever read Switch, the book Switch? Dan and Chip Heath. Great book. I recommend it. I put it on my resources page, I think at the very end. But the book Switch he's talking about, the Heath brothers are talking about change and how people decide to make a change basically in their lives or in business or whatever. And I can sum up the book for you. It's emotion beats logic every time. So we have this logic in us, and he compares it to a rider and an elephant. And the rider is the logic and the elephant is the emotion. And so the elephant is really the powerful, the real power is in the emotion. So don't be afraid to jump in there and let people be a little bit emotional or have fun. So we do another thing in our meetings. We do a silly little thing called Thankful Thingamabobs, and we have a little pile of silly little gifts from the Dollar Tree, and people will take something off of that pile and they'll give it to someone and they'll say, I'm thankful for this teacher because they really came through for me this week and helped me out a lot. And again, we plan ahead, so I tell people early that we're going to do that, and so they have a couple of days to think about what they might want to say. But that emotion and the real humanness in the meeting really sticks in people's minds, and I think it's some of our favorite things we do in these meetings. So have fun. Don't be afraid to have fun. So also, you ought to learn something. I mean, we are schools, and I'm a huge believer in learning something in a meeting. So sometimes at the beginning of our meetings, I will, if I'm running the meeting, I will have just a little article or a video clip or something out there that helps our staff or our leadership team learn something new. So last week we did a little thing on AI in education, and it really was not the topic of our whole meeting was not about AI, but it was just a new idea that I've been listening to and reading about, following on Twitter and that sort of thing. So we learned a little bit about it. And for some people that was a big stretch, and they were just like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? But I feel like we should be learning something new all the time. So it's too easy to get into a rut and just kind of go through your meetings and do your thing. Take 5 minutes at the very beginning and learn something new. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this, learn something new every time you meet. Just reviewing what everybody already knows is kind of boring, there's really no need to have a meeting, and just everybody goes through. Sometimes we have these status update meetings and everybody kind of reads their status, but we're not really that interested in everybody's status on whatever's happening. So You know, and if it can be an email, make it an email. You've got to use that experience with people together in the same room for you know, do only the things you can do when everybody's in that same room. So if it's an email, send the email. But you can learn something new, have fun together, connect people. Those are things that are unique to an actual meeting with people actually in the room. So do what you can do with everybody in the same room at the same time. They should inspire, guys. And being a teacher is really hard. It's tough. And it is a challenging job. You know, we have a variety of kids, and I think our teachers need to be inspired. And again, it does not have to be every single meeting, but we should be inspired. Don't miss the chance to inspire your faculty. So this is your little place. Anybody have thoughts or things that I missed or something that was burning in your brain when I was talking about meetings? Anybody want to share anything? We're pretty much at the end. I've just got one more little clip for you. But anybody have thoughts, just unmute and ask a question or share something that you do that you find successful in your meetings at your school or your organization.
I'll just add that I appreciate this presentation, and I like the ideas about making sure you inspire and that you add something in there, just random to learn something new. I think that's really cool.
Great, thank you. I couldn't see who was talking. It didn't pop up on my screen, but thank you for sharing.
Teachers, pardon the interruption. Bus 97 is going to be 68 from now on, and bus 15
Sorry,
is
we're
going
getting
to be
announcements
8 from now on. And we have had a large amount of transportation changes, so please be sure you look at that sheet this afternoon because you probably have some changes. Thank you.
Oh, the life that you all know so well. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm on bus duty this afternoon, as I am every day, and that's where I'm headed in just a minute. So yeah, so my final statement for you guys, or final thought, is meetings are a chance to lead well. You know, we have a huge responsibility as school leaders, and don't miss that opportunity. We have so much, you saw that we have so much time invested in that. We have money invested in that, and what a huge opportunity it is to inspire, guide, lead, support our teachers. So take your time and do those things that I was talking about before, and then just plan and invest in that. And I am gonna I'm gonna jump past that one, and I'm just gonna tell you there's a shortage of great leaders, guys. And you have to miss an Obi-Wan Kenobi clip, but shortage of great leaders out there, and so we have a huge duty to do it really well. And this is just a quick summary for you guys. You know, think about how you can be more clear. Think about even the cost of that meeting in the room. You know, the people in the room. Consider the meeting before the meeting. Have fun. Make it a learning experience, because you are a school after all. We should always be learning, and be inspirational. You know, do everything you can do to support and inspire our teachers. So. All right, any final comments, thoughts? Just got a special thanks to our Southside Elementary staff, who get to let me practice leading with them every day of my job and my life, and at Woodford County Public Schools, where I work, of course. And I've got a couple of resources. I did put this link in the, if you look at the grid and you click the name of this presentation, it takes everybody to their little customized Google Doc. These slides are in there, and obviously I don't mind you using anything. If you want to talk about meetings with your staff, or even use the clips or whatever, you're welcome to go in there and grab. They're all on YouTube except for the last one, so you're welcome just to grab and reuse as you would like. So thank you guys so much for being here today.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
The Google Doc that you're on from the EdCamp grid, your slides aren't linked. It looks like it's a YouTube video that's linked. So just
okay, I will fix that. I will fix that. This bit.ly should take you there if you want to do a screenshot, but thank you for calling that to my attention. I will go see what I've done to that. I'll go fix it right now. As soon as we're done, I'll go fix the slides. Yeah. This should be the right bit.ly, but if I've got the wrong link there, I might double check both of them actually. But I'll definitely, this one's already in front of you, so it's going to be gone in just a second, but I'll definitely fix the one on the other side.
Well, thank you, Mr. Beaty. That was excellent advice for meetings. I think we can underestimate the power of our meetings. So that's definitely helpful for school leaders as they lead their teachers in important work. So thank you so much. Does anyone have any final questions before we close this session? Well, thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great day of learning.
It has. Yep. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Brandy, for hosting. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for coming.
Keep it up here. I won't read to you guys, but these are all the ways that we try to support the work that you're doing, and we try to stay very up to date with what the vision is of Kentucky. So you saw a lot of deeper learning today, and that's because that's a really big vision and mission of our State Department as far as leadership from the commissioner down. So again, the more you connect, the better I think that you become as a leader. So these are, again, just options for you. They're all going to be available on our website. We can put the website in the chat. Would encourage you to sign up for our email distribution list, because then you'll get our Canva newsletter and lots of other opportunities. Done.
All right, thank you. I am going to share my screen for one more thing. That is the ELA feedback. I'm sorry, EdCamp feedback and ELA credit request form. So you can see it is at the bottom of the grid. You can click on that link and fill out that form. There are two options. You can, if you were here for about half the day, 5 of the sessions, you can get 3 hours of ELA credit. If you were here for the full day, 8 of the 9 sessions and the keynotes included, you can get 6 hours of ELA credit. And all presenters will get an additional 2 hours of ELA credit for the time they put in prepping for their presentation today. So that's at the bottom. And if you love this kind of thing and you're like, I'd like to see some more. Last year's P3 EdCamp, all of the sessions except for a couple were recorded, and you can see the link down at the bottom on the right side from last year's camp. So if there's a topic that maybe wasn't discussed today that you wanted to take a look at, take a look in there and see if there's something that tickles your fancy. So the only other thing that we do in this session is if there was something that was not covered that you want to talk to the P3 team about because it's happening in your building and you need some answers and you came here looking for those answers today, we would be glad to chat with you now. So we'll hang on here for a little bit. If anybody wants to stay on and ask any questions about a topic that wasn't somebody keeps going on and off with the recording button. I'm not sure what's up. But yeah, if you'll take that feedback form seriously, we would very much appreciate it. We do use your feedback to try to make things better from one year to the next. And so hopefully you had a great day today learning about everything from Todd Whitaker's Mizzou undershorts to some important learning stuff. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much.
Liz Irwin, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Allison.
Yes, I dropped in your session for a little bit. Fabulous job.
Oh, thank you. I hope you heard my shout out to the P3 CAP program.
I did not, but I'm glad you did.
It was the game changer for me. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks, Brandy. Sorry for all the issues.
It was mine. It's completely mine. And I'm probably the one who was the reason for the recording thing, because I tried to stop it. I tried to push stop when it was trying to upload. So I don't know.
I was like, I thought it was Stacy.
No, it's probably me. It popped up again and said that it was going to convert my video, so I tried to push stop. It's a
Mhm.
hot mess. but
No
we made it.
worries.
I
We
enjoyed
did
it. Thank you all for allowing me
Yes.
to host. It was good.
Thanks so much for your help.